Letterman. I'm the Executive Director of the Mobile Payment Conference. We're here today with Steve Durney, who is with Ithaca. Tell us what you do with them.
So I'm the Senior Vice President for Market Strategy. So I wind up going out to a lot of the conferences and engaging with many of our clients and partners, really trying to find solutions that work effectively for them and their business, and how Ithaca's network can help with it.
That's great. So let's talk about friction and fraud.
Friction. So, I enjoy this conference a fair amount because it brings together a lot of people that are working on complex mechanisms by which people can be separated from their money, basically is what it is, right? How can I engage in different form factors, different ways to have payments accepted or given? What comes along with that, though, is friction. It's the you have to monitor for, is it fraud? Is it the right person? Is it the right identity? Is it the right individual making the right transaction at the right time? So many times friction comes into play because you have to check. You have to say, send a text message, a two-factor authentication. Is this really you that's making the transaction? Ithaca's really at the forefront of trying to solve for that particular friction and make sure that the right person is making the right transaction at the right time. And if the wrong transaction makes the wrong person makes the wrong transaction, we help to clean it up.
Tell me about friendly fraud.
Friendly fraud. So as you have really ubiquity of mechanisms by which people can pay, all the mobile devices, the card on file, the registered profiles, etc. What winds up happening is you have this accidental issue of somebody in my house made a transaction. So I have young kids, my credit cards are registered, God knows how many different websites and such for them, and they start playing video games. All of a sudden I have a $300 bill for some in-app purchase on a mobile phone that I didn't know.
Right.
That's an example of friendly fraud. It's a simple, benign mechanism by which somebody within your house is using a credit card that belongs to somebody else in the house, and it racks up a bill. Typically what happens then, the fraud portion that comes into it is, at a principle as a parent, I might say, well, I don't want to pay the $300 in Candy Crush bricks. Like, that's just wrong.
But it's your child.
But it's your child, and they
Right.
legitimately did it. Usually what you'll do is you'll call up the bank and say, I didn't do it. You plead ignorance.
Right.
That's an example of friendly fraud where the right responsible party is being charged for the transaction, but they don't want to pay for it. The difficulty with that is the bank really doesn't know the truth, right?
Okay.
Because they only know what shows up on the statement, the name of the merchant, the amount. And what Ithaca is doing is providing a connection so that in that moment, when the customer, me, calls in and says, this $300 is not mine, the bank is armed with enough information to go, no, Mr. Durney, it really was you. You have a son, here's his device name, it really was you, you got to pay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Or we'll forgive a little bit of it, but you got to pay some of it. Right?
Okay, got it. So tell me, I know we're at the Mobile Payment Conference, but I believe you guys do more than just mobility for fraud and security. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
Yeah,
So
that's right.
Tell us about the wider product line.
Yep. So Ithaca has a number of products that are based on what we call our collaboration network, which is we have roughly 6,600 merchants
Okay.
and about 4,000 card issuing banks
Okay.
in about 41 countries.
Okay.
So if you can imagine the analogy, the joke that I always tell is it's like the junior high school dance, right? These are the boys on the one side and the girls on the other. They don't normally talk to each other. It's uncomfortable for them to talk to each other. So our collaboration network makes that happen. So we create data pipes and we create relationships between those entities in a safe and secure way for them to share information about fraud, acceptance, and other things that they wouldn't normally be able to do.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to ask this question. MasterCard has just purchased you.
That's right.
How does that work for you, and how do you fall into the MasterCard umbrella?
It works very well for us, obviously. So we fall into the MasterCard umbrella. They acquired the company, but Ithaca is being left to be run as an independent subsidiary. So one of the things that we've always prided ourselves on is being agnostic in the industry, and we intend to maintain that, and we have MasterCard support to maintain that.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
No, other than the significant thank you for the interesting topics at the conference. It's been a significant education for me, and it's good connecting with everybody here.
Well, we are so glad as you being one of the new sponsors, and we're looking forward to doing business with you for many years. So,
Thank you. Thank you.